The purpose of this video is to show you how to use the DICE learning environment to author projects. In DICE, a project can be a set of learning activities, it can be a set of assessment activities, or it could be a set of presentations. When I say a set, I mean one or more. First, you have to be an author, a registered author in DICE in order to author projects. If you're not a registered author, you can always view the projects. So, for example, if your students are not authors registered in the system, they can view them and you can print it out for them as well. So let's first log in. Press the login. I'm going to put in my username and the password assigned to me by the DICE project. Now what I'm going to do is create a project. I click Create Project. Now I'm asked if I want to create a new project or copy an existing project and edit it. Let's first create a brand new project from scratch. I'm going to call this Analyzing Temperatures in Greater LA Area, California. Now, I just leave the status alone, not reviewed by DICE staff. Eventually we might have a review system, but for now, just leave that alone. I can type in my objective, understand differences between night and day temperatures. I'm abbreviating so to save time in this video. And I can put in my course name, let's call it Earth Science, and my grade levels, let's say, and this course is for 9th and 10th graders. And here I can assign different forms of helps, different tutorials. Now I'm going to assign Map Legend help because I want my students to have access to a tutorial about how to interpret map legends in DICE data from Giovanni. So I'm going to ask for that, and let's say I'm also going to have students have access to a conversion from Kelvin to Fahrenheit because the Giovanni data come in Kelvin. And I also want students to have access to a climate change schema so they can study about where temperature fits into a greater context about climate change, and that's probably enough for now. So I've decided this is sort of front-end stuff that's going to be available to the students and just general information. I'm going to save this as a draft. Now I'm going to view the page. I'm going out of the editor and I'm viewing the page in the viewer. And this is what I have so far. Here are my help tools. Let's click one of these and see what it looks like. This is our Map Legend help. Here's our climate change schema about what we know and don't know about climate change. Those will be available to the students. Now, what I can also do then is add an activity. That's very important. A project needs at least one activity or presentation. I'm going to add an activity. If I was going to basically show students just something without asking questions, I would probably use the presentation template. I'm going to use the activity template. So I'm going to call this Summer Temperatures. And this would be study the images and answer the questions. Now I can bring in an image. Let's bring in my first image. I can bring this in from a local drive. So I'm going to go in and press Add Row. Add row means add an image. So I'm going to add an image. I'm going to go from my computer. I'm going to select files. I'm going to go to this thumb drive that I have, and I'm going to go to my DICE images, something I created, and I'm going to show the bring on in this image, which is about LA area daytime temperatures in the summer of 2011. I'm going to add that image in, and I can put in a caption for that. Daytime temps in late summer 2011. Now I want to add another image. I'm going to give that image a name, a number. I'm going to give it a number to keep track. I'm going to add another row, add another image, and let's see. I'm going to go to the nighttime temperature one. I'm going to open that and add that into my view, and I'm going to put together a caption for that. Let's see. I'm going to copy and paste this one. This will be nighttime temperatures in late summer 2011. Now I can put in some questions. My questions could be, what are there, describe which temps are greater and where in the greater in the whole area on the maps. Now I could also make a multiple choice question. Say if I wanted to put another I could put in another question here. I could say select the correct answer, and I can put in this, my choices, and I also have the option of putting in answers. These answers would show up for myself and for other other author teachers to see. But if they were printed out, let's say I didn't want my students to see the answers, I could print them out, and the printout version would not have the answers included. So let's just say here I put in answer to question 1 is, and then I can do the same with another answer to question 2. Okay, now let's say I've done enough for now. So I save this up here where it says saving options. And now I click view page. And now it will show up in the viewer. This is what I have so far. And if I want to go back to the project homepage, I can see everything. I can see that activity appended. Watch, if I click show all, I can see that the front end information about the project, the actual activity, summer temps, the content I've put in already, those help tools that I selected are there as well, and I can add more. I can edit this, the project information. I can add another activity. I can print. Now, if I want my students to see this without the answers, if I print this out, the answers do get printed out for myself because I'm still logged in. But if I log out, I will not see the answers. So my students who are not authors, who aren't logged in, would not see the answers. But for myself, if I print it out, I can print out with the answers attached. Now I can save this printout as a PDF file. I can save it if I have on my computer access to a PDF, and I can save it and email it to my students. Or I could print it out for them from the PDF or directly from DICE. Let's now return to the other page. Now, let's look at if I wanted to add a presentation. Presentation template is a little different. There's an overview. You can attach an image. So let's say I want to attach an image to a presentation about CO2 in Europe in January and in July 2011. I can add this image. I have a caption to put in, and I can also write something. So imagine this, like if this was a PowerPoint presentation. Here would be the image in my slide. Here the observation would be my commentary, and the caption would be a label about the image. And then I can have some broad observations as well. So this observation would be around this particular image, and then at the bottom, let's say if I added 4 or 5 images to this, I could then have a culminating observation at the end about all the images. Now I could do this myself, or if I wanted, I could get the DICE staff to assign to my students authoring privileges, and they could use this tool as well to do their own presentations. Now, one other thing I should mention is if I wanted to add images, I don't have to add them from my own computer. I can add them from the DICE Media Library. Every time an image goes into DICE, it ends up in the Media Library as well. So if you notice, there's lots of images here. But I could browse these and see if I want to use one of these. And I could put that in. So let's look at this one here. I want to use the selected image from the about snow depth in Europe, and I can do that. And then let's just say I saved. I'm going to say this on Europe presentation, and I save it, and I view the page. Okay. So you can see we have, now I have a presentation, and I have an activity in my project. Now if I want to go in and edit one of these, I can go in by using the outline view and then clicking on it. Say I want to edit the presentation about Europe. I go to the viewer page. From clicking the title from the project page, and then I say I want to edit it, and then I'm back to that editor window, and I can add in, notice that, etc. And I can put that in and view the page. Okay. Now of course there's a lot of work that would still need to take place to make this a useful publishable work in the DICE archive, the DICE LE archive. But let's just say for now I want to publish it so that some of my colleagues can see it and give some feedback about it. So I can publish it, but I can also unpublish. And even when I publish, I can still edit it. So let's just say I want to publish it now. So I'm going in, I have to go back into edit mode for the project. And all I simply do here is click publish. Clicking publish, and now it shows up. I click update then. If I want to edit it, I can click something. Now when I click the update button, I just put in some X's just to show you that. And if I view the page, it's in publish state, but I can still make some edits. Notice these X's here were what I just put in. Now, how do I know this is published? Well, if I go to See All Projects, I can look that my projects are projects that I've been working on, but haven't necessarily published. But notice that this one I've just been working on, analyzing temps in Greater LA area, is now showing up in the All Published Projects. But let's just say I've changed my mind, I don't want to publish it anymore, I want to unpublish it. So I can go click on it again. I can edit it, go into the edit mode. I can change from published from that status. I click edit, and I change the status through this pull down menu to draft again. Then I click Update. Now watch. If I go to View the Page, to go back to the viewer, and then go back to the See All Projects list, notice that it is no longer in the published. It's not in the published projects anymore. So this gives me lots of flexibility for publishing and unpublishing. So the last piece of this that you should look at is how to adapt someone else's project. Sometimes you might like a project that someone else created, but you'd like to make it, do something to it, adapt it for your own local area, or edit it for your students' reading levels and other issues. So what you can do is, let's say I want to create a new project. And this time I want to copy an existing project and edit it. So let's see. These are all the published projects. Okay, I think what I want to do is take one of these projects, like this one here, and this one about Northwestern Alaska and climate. Your project has been created, it says. Edit this project. Now, this shows up as a copy of Northwestern Alaska climate and data. So first thing I'm going to do is change it. Change the title, Northwestern Climate and Data version. I'm going to change it to Northwestern Climate and Data adapted for middle school. And I'm going to make some edits of it. I made an edit of the objective. Let's say I could change the language. I can change the grade levels. I can change what the original author had wanted to put in as helps. Let's say I get rid of some of these, so the students don't see all of these. And let's say I save that, and I can view it. It's in a draft form right now. And let's just say I have a copy of different activities. Let's just say I want to edit this second activity. I'd like to leave the first activity alone, but I'd like to edit this one. So let's see, I'm going to go into edit mode. I'll just say that some of these images and I think I'm going to change some of the language. By the way, I can stretch the field out. So I want to change some of that language. I want to take out some of these images, like I don't like this one, so I'm going to get rid of it. I'm going to get rid of this caption. Okay, I'm going to get rid of this image. I'm going to get rid of that. And let's just say I also want to move these around. So I want this one to be, I want number 2 to be number 1. So I lift it, bring it up here, and now what used to be 2 is now number 1, and it's caption as well. So there's various things. I don't like this question, so I'm going to get rid of it, but then I'm going to add my own new question. And I'm going to save that. Now I'm going to view my page. Now all of my changes have been saved. I can print it out for my students. And I can also let my students see it in this way, and if they see it, they can also open up and make much bigger an image. They can do that from the viewer, or they can do it from the printout. If I print it, but it's still showing up on the screen here, I can make these big as well from there. So, this tutorial has given you some background about how to author materials in DICCE-LE. The other tutorial will go over basics about just viewing projects, the sort of thing that you can do when you're not logged in, or your students could do when not logged in.